Hi friends, it's Maria. Uh, this is the second time I'm making this video because the first one was rambly, and then for some reason I started ranting about scissors. So some people have asked for how do you write left-handed? Just like that. There you go. But in all seriousness, let's talk about it. That is the short version of this. I got a candle here. It's called Day Drinking. It's pina colada scented. It's delicious. But I'm going to put it out of the way just in case. I also have a big container of water. I'm supposed to drink 2 of these a day, and I'm behind because I put it somewhere. So, writing left-handed. I did something just without saying, which is, if you are left-handed, I'm going to start with this. If you are left-handed and you can use an implement in your hand to get marks on the paper, and you are happy with the method and other people can read what you've written, don't feel compelled to change. If, however, you feel like you need to use special pens or inks because you're left-handed and you don't want to smear anything, if you're getting hand cramps, etc., because you are doing this sort of thing, maybe keep watching. Sometimes people call the method of writing I do underwriting. That's a whole job, being an underwriter. I do not do that. But anyway, the way I write is literally a mirror of the way right-handed people write. Oops, I said it just is this way. That's the short version of it. So, you know what, I think this is so jostly because this arm is a little bit loose. Anyway, I'll just try not to move too much. Oh, you know what? Okay, calm down. We'll go back. I learned to write when my mom said I was like 4, and because I was asking her, did she teach me? My dad is left-handed, so I wondered, did he teach me? Now it was my mom, and I believe my dad writes in the same method I do, so possibly she had some insight from watching him, but also she just was able to go, I do this, maybe Maria should do this. So thanks, Mom. I called her once or messaged her just to say, Mom, thank you so much for teaching me to read. Because it was I'm like, this is truly the best thing in my life. So, step 1, your paper should be at about this angle to you. Right? What is that? That is about a 60-degree angle. I could get a ruler and measure it, but I'm just going to take it on faith. So this is about 30. That's about 60. And over here, there's the imaginary 90 that helps us do a 30, 60, 90 triangle. Anyway, do you remember that with SOHCAHTOA and 3, 4, 5? So then, holding the pen, I hold my pen wrong, like the right way. You can see Simona of Simone demonstrate this quite well. But you want your pen resting on your middle finger with these up here. Do I have a Lamy? Would be really good at showing this, right? Because their grip is triangular to really help you enforce this. So the bottom rests on a finger, and the other 2 fingers go on the flat bits on the pen. How I usually hold it, I've been working on correcting. I usually hold it down here. On this, I have a bump here from writing. It's a writer's bump. So I hold it, like some people will call it the quadruped. So I hold it mostly right, caveat, but I use the wrong finger. So this guy is just I could write with my pointer finger just hanging out in the middle of nowhere because it does nothing. But it just rests here. So I've been learning this, but so if you're reteaching yourself, do it this way. Okay? Resting on the middle finger, these two fingers up top. And if you really want to like reteach yourself, just be ready for it to be, here, let's make sure this is in focus. I can't tell because my vision is bad enough that the screen isn't in focus for me. But anyway, there we go. Be prepared to write poorly and slowly if you want to retrain yourself, and it will feel awkward and uncomfortable. And as adults, we're not actually used to that sensation as much as kids are. So it can be more frustrating to us, I think, and we'll be more likely to go back to the old way of doing things. With a fountain pen, the nib is up, right? The hole on the nib faces you, ish. It doesn't face down to the paper. It faces up. With a ballpoint, I mean, this isn't it is a ballpoint, but it's, you know, same thing. So that's the hard part done. Paper like this, pen like this. And I think you can see with the paper like this and the pen like this, my pen is like right below the line. And when I write like this, just similar to however these weirdos do it in this hand. I don't understand because this hand is so much stupider. Like, this hand is dumb. Look, it can't do anything. Like, look at it. Look at it try and write. What the hell is that? Nonsense. Because it's stupid. This is obviously the smarter hand. See, it can say, look at me. I am smarter. Right hand couldn't do that. Anyway, never try to change somebody's method of writing, like don't make a righty a lefty and don't make a lefty a righty. I will say that. So that's all. That's all there is to it. We'll zoom in. Boop. We'll write some things. I'm really good at writing my name. That's probably the best thing. I rarely write in cursive anymore. I usually do this kind of scrawly, jot things down. So I hope that helps. Set yourself up like this. Look how I'm doing. These rings are not in the way. Lefties, they're not in the way. You know? And if you think they are, go like this. Or, okay, be contrary. Right on the back of the page. They're in the way for everybody, no matter which hand you write with, 50% of the time. Okay. I'm like full of angst and anger when I talk about this, aren't I? So the other thing I'll talk about is what people have asked. Pointed pen, dip pen, calligraphy. This is some iron gall ink that I made from oak galls. There was a tree and it dropped these things and I'm like, what the hell are these things falling out of the tree? Turns out they were oak galls. And you bash them up and you soak them in water and you make like a tea out of them and then you add iron to them. And there's like tannic acid and iron something. Anyway, incredibly corrosive. Dip, I lit this nib on fire. Why is it being a jerk like this? Let me get a cloth. So, lefties have a slight advantage for pointed pen calligraphy, I think. So our disadvantage is what they call the hairline strokes. So when you're not pushing down. So if we write an M this way, disadvantage, but going down, the downstroke is an advantage. You can see that the way I'm writing, the down is perfectly aligned with the way I'm writing, with the way my hand wants to be on the page. Righties, picture this. This is gonna be awkward. I'm gonna do my best, okay? Because I'm not right-handed, and we've already gone over how stupid this hand is, okay? I have to think real hard. See, that's not the right angle. I'd want to go like this. Do you see that? It's not right at all. So I'd have to turn the paper, I don't know, maybe I'd turn it this way. Yeah, I think that would work. I think you'd have to turn your paper like the full, and I can't actually write that way left-handed. I can write towards myself. But for pointed pen, you see this is awful. And so righties actually have a nib holder that is like this, but then there's a thing that comes out and puts the nib so that it writes at this direction, the direction that lefties are naturally holding it. So lefties, go ahead and feel superior for a moment. This can be the one time in a day that you're like, haha, it's an advantage. So what should we write? That was too thick right there. Let me do this in case we stab through the paper. Also, this ink is like magic because it dries darker. It used to go on a very light brown, but over time of just being open, the whole thing has slightly darkened. Here, this part will probably darken a bit. Maybe not. This is a nib I stopped using because I felt like it was past its prime, but I'm using it for this. Yeah, this is already darker. There you go, we wrote that. Okay? Standard sentence that we had to write. Oops, I screwed that up. That's okay. Can't miss this. There you go. Now, I wish I had a container of water, but I don't. However, I do have this rag, and that will be good enough for the moment. I'll go wash this off after. You never want to leave iron gall ink on, like actual iron gall ink on a pen. Like I said, corrosive. It's if you look at like some really old like illuminated manuscripts, you can see where the ink has eaten through the paper and all that remains is the shape of the letters. So there you go. That's how I write pointed pen calligraphy and how I write as a lefty. So thanks for watching. This was awful. I don't like writing with the paper on the table. It's too hard. Yeah. Hope whenever you're watching this, you're having a wonderful day. Take care of yourselves. Bye.